Greetings, everyone. It's Tawnya Love, and welcome to Tawnya Love Show. We've had interesting technical things happening with our computers today, so hopefully everything goes well. But I guess we just learn we're not in charge of everything, and this is our lesson to be patient. Um, Today's show, I feel led to talk about the importance and power of meditation, and not just meditation as something to explore as a hobby and maybe take a few workshops and then you just forget about it and move on back into the craziness, but really to embrace meditation as a daily tool to assist us in living more authentically and more aligned lives, to really help us to connect with Source and to remember that even when things go crazy, as Amnon and I just experienced with computer stuff, that we can also go within and just be at peace with that and realize that it's all happening for some reason and that we can learn how to be in control of our own energy. And so that's what I feel led to talk about today. And I've been meditating for over, I would say, probably about 14, 15 years now. And in the beginning of that journey of taking daily time to just be quiet and still and to reflect and go inward and feel my stuff and heal and clear my stuff, it was very difficult. It was really a huge test just to stay committed to the path. And there was times where, as I was tuning in, things weren't always fun. Everything that I had to look at wasn't necessarily beautiful. And I say that because some of you that are feeling called now to really know self and to really tune in and be authentic, you're going to have stuff you have to feel, and you may have to face things that you've done a really great job of tucking away and kind of hiding in the shadows. And the freedom and liberation will really come in that moment of going inward and really looking into it instead of resisting it another day. And so we're gonna go into all of that today. But it was interesting because I was on a trip this weekend to Seattle to see my sister, and she's going through a lot of stuff, a lot of changes in her life, and being very empathic, I feel energy and I can really pick up on energies. And if there's chaos and there's stress, I feel that stuff powerfully. And so being around it was a very interesting thing for me just to observe and to really, it triggered a lot of memory, like emotional memory of when I had been in situations that were not loving and when I was going through separation with my ex-husband. And it was really interesting and intense to be in that energy. And then when I came home, I had to deal with stuff with my son, and there's just like standing my ground, standing in my power, and demanding that, those who are in my home environment show respect and show reverence and honor. And so there was just all this intense energy last night. And on my journey home, I felt so at peace. In the car, I was like looking at the sun setting to my right, the moon was on my left, beautiful full moon. And I knew that that moon had some influence in the energies and the intensity. Well, last night I got home and I was just kind of processing everything, and I just started to cry. And I was like, sometimes when I'll tell my beloved, I just am feeling so much. And some of us, I feel like the ones that are very sensitive, that we have this gift of sensitivity and empathy, we feel stuff sometimes that we don't even understand. And there's times where the waves of energy and change on the planet can hit an empath so intently that it can be quite overwhelming. And so I have literally come into my power and learned how to live on this planet and to really function and not just survive, but to thrive from the connection with daily meditation. So the importance and the power of connecting with Source and being quiet and still, I cannot express enough in words how important and how vital that will be for every soul. And I really feel that, when I'm teaching my my meditation classes each week and my yoga classes, I talk to the students about, one day you'll look back and we're going to, as humanity, look back at this time on the planet and just, I feel like we'll just be like, wow, like look at how disconnected we were. Look at how ignorant we were, living so in fear and so separate and just in the illusion. And what will wake us up and reconnect us again will be that meditative experience. And it isn't anything fancy. I think sometimes people have this preconceived idea of meditation as being, you're wearing a robe and you're chanting, and you have to travel to India and you have to do all these things to be able to meditate. And then if you're a good person and you're a sage, then, you may be worthy. And honestly, meditation is simply stillness and presence. And ultimately, as I have taught yoga, my yoga students and my meditation students, is that our ultimate goal is when we come to the mat and we sit and we connect in with our pranayamic breathing and our asana, our physical poses, and we're connecting with source. It's not just about being on our mat and like being really fancy in our outfits and being able to do these amazing yoga poses and, take some Instagram pictures and show them off to everybody. That's fine, but the essence of why you're coming there is to condition and strengthen your connection with source. It's to remember who you are. And so as we come in that daily practice of connecting, it is ultimately there to awaken a life journey of living in alignment, of living as one with source, and really walking the walk. So ultimately, when we go and we're practicing in meditation or yoga, we're really coming to that place to take a seat and connect at the seat of our soul and to really listen. And as we do this with consistency and we practice, it will become more natural. I feel in essence, this is our natural state, is to be in this state of presence. But we've been raised and conditioned on a planet where it has been from birth, you've been conditioned to deny self, to go away from self, to separate, to put everyone in boxes, label them, attach to things, disconnect from other things. This has been a taught behavior. But in essence, our connection, our oneness is our truth. It's what we are. And so some of us coming to the mat, that may be just the first moments of remembering. And then as we remember and we cultivate that daily practice, we really get to this place where we are learning to live in a moving meditation. And that, I feel, is the ultimate goal or the ultimate journey of why we practice yoga or why we meditate, is to one day be the enlightened one. And being an enlightened one does not mean that you're from a certain country or you wear a certain costume. In fact, often that can create a separation, and it can start to create a disruption in source-connected energy. So really, being enlightened means that as I'm sitting here now, even though my computer was having issues, even though my teenagers may disrespect me at times, even though maybe not everything's flowing perfectly as what my ego would like it to be, I can still stay calm and centered in the center of all of that energy and know that I am good and I am enough and that I am supported and that everything's going to work out. And I've honestly learned that awareness and that understanding and wisdom within me, that I see many look to me, and like my family members, they'll come to me and they'll ask advice. They'll just be like, Tawnya, what do you think I should do? And I feel honored that they come to me, because at some level they see that I have wisdom and that I have learned how to move and navigate on this planet. And they know I'm sensitive. They know the Pisces sensitive spirit that I am, that will not even feel sad, but be around someone that's going to cry. And I'll just be like, whoa, and I start to cry. And like last night as I was crying, I'm just like, what is all this? And there was like a sense of grieving, and there was a sense of release and a sense of cleansing and purifying of energies that are just bombarding the planet that maybe I couldn't even put into words. And my soul was okay with that. It was just like, wow, there's a lot of stuff happening right now. And it was just like intense. Well, I say that because I'm going to read you a little thing. I was on Facebook a little bit earlier this morning, and there was a girl, and she's a sweet soul, and she's very positive for the most part. And she was kind of calling out for love and support and just saying how things were just not going well for her. And she just didn't understand, like, what is going on? Like, what is this intensity? And I could tell, I could feel empathy for her and compassion. I could feel the deep calling out of help and relief. And so a person had tagged this on her post, and I wanted to read it to you because it's connected to the full moon right now, which is a supermoon, and it's in Pisces. And as I was reading it, it made so much sense to my soul. So I knew I was guided to her post And I read this and it helped answer deeper questions in me. So if any of you out there today are just feeling kind of emotional and feeling just like, what the F? Like, truly, if you're just having one of those days where, like, what the crap is happening, and you just feel this intensity, or maybe you're feeling overwhelmed and you think it's maybe just little things, but when you get inside, it's like, no, there's a deeper overwhelmment here. What is this? So tune in on that. And I'm going to read this just briefly to you. It's about the full moon, and it's what's going on right now. It said the full moon, or the harvest supermoon, is bringing a deep feminine water of Pisces to cleanse our emotional realms. There is a potential for deep healing at this time. The full moon is what I am calling a waterworks full moon. The moon in any water sign is already very emotional, sensitive, and receptive, but I would argue that Pisces is the most sensitive of all the signs, which made me laugh because I'm a Pisces, and yes, that is pretty much true. With the full moon in Pisces, we have a heightened sense of sensitivity, which could bring us to the point of bliss or to the point of pain and suffering. If you find yourself in tears leading up to this full moon, know that I can't read. Now you know why. I think crying is very good. It helps you to release all that you are holding on to. The moon conjunct Chiron is a very heavy aspect. There is a wounding and pain around emotions, being supported, nurtured, and being contained. Since Pisces is a sign of vast consciousness, there is simply no way to put a container around all that it feels and experiences. Which that made so much sense to my soul, because there's often, when, as I feel Source speaking through me to explain things, that wisdom comes through of that it's really not something we can just label or just to put into words. It's so beyond that. For me to teach you the power of meditation, I can in words guide you there, but to truly understand the wisdom of knowing self and connecting with Source is an experiential thing that you have to experience to really understand it. So yes, as a connected one, I can speak and be a messenger for spirit, but often those messages will not be as full as the truth, because to put it into words already starts to, fragment it. So anyway, so back to what we're reading about. The full moon can bring up some deep psychic stuff around childhood, past, and or the shadow self. Looking at any wounds and pain or denial we have around codependency, enabling, addiction, victimization, or playing the martyr is key right now. So really great things to tune into. I know for myself, as I looked into that, I was really tuning into the enabling aspect of how oftentimes as I feel like I'm being a good mom and I'm trying to help my children, I do things for them. But often if there's not much respect shown after and they're not really learning their lessons, I have to take a step back and be like, this is yours. You need to deal with this. Like, you need to learn from this, because my taking it over, my carrying it for them, I can do it. I've learned how to, be very responsible, but these children need to learn that. And so sometimes we as parents need to watch that balance. We need to watch that we're giving them room to make their mistakes. We're giving them room and we're giving them support, but we're not just enabling them and giving them whatever they say they want, which may not be what they need. So that's what really stood out to me, is what I'm processing right now. To add this, on Thursday, 9/4, Chiron was perigee, which means his orbit was closest to the Earth. Whenever planets or planetoids are closest to Earth, their energy is felt more palpably, and so this amplifies the sensitivity and woundedness in the air right now. Can unearth stuff we did not see or did not want to see, particularly stuff around anger. If we have been repressing it or holding it for a while, watch out. And that's so true. I was so frustrated last night, and I don't get that angry very often, but I felt so upset it was a deep thing of being respected. And if I'm speaking, someone just talks over me, or they walk out of the room and they don't really honor when I'm trying to help them, it really upset me. And last night I had this wave of energy hit me, and it was intense. And so today, reading this, it helped me really understand that and to process it, and also to see that it's healthy, that we really, to live in a healthy, aligned way, we have to be able to let this stuff go. If I haven't been expressing my feelings to someone that I feel is very selfish or very negative, or maybe plays the victim a lot, and I'm just trying to be quiet about it and let them find their way, it may come to a point where those words need to be spoken. So for all of you listening, I'd encourage you to tune into, if you are feeling a lot of emotion, what is it connected to? And if there is anger or frustration and you've not been speaking your truth, maybe, you've been saying part of the truth, but you haven't been fully speaking, have the courage to do that. Ask Spirit even. Ask Source to speak that through you. Channel your angels and ask them to help you. I know for myself, working with Archangel Michael is hugely powerful and helps me when I have to deal with a loved one or someone, maybe even a stranger, a coworker or something that you need to express truth to. It can be really powerful for you. Even if the result that you're looking for doesn't happen, I encourage each of you to look into the power of speaking your truth. And this, again, comes back to our meditative practice of living in the now. When we're really present right here, right now, then we speak truth. We're not in fear. We're not in the anxiety of what's coming to us, and we're not in the fear or the worry of what already happened. We're present. We're right here. And Source has said to me that what channeled in when I was meditating before the show was that so often the very answers we seek are right here. They're right here in this silent moment of stillness. And the problem is that humans often go and race around and get more frantic, get louder, they talk more, they go do more, they distract more, they go and they entertain themselves more. They do all these efforts to, it's like all these energies and these things they go towards are to relieve that tension, to relieve that sense of anxiety and that feeling of not being connected, that feeling of not being supported. And so the quickest path, like I always tell my yoga students, is the quickest path is just now. It's just step in right now and stick to the path. And I say that because so many will have, you'll know like your body needs to be healthier, and so you'll start working out or you'll start eating better. And then a week or two later, you're bored and it didn't give you the fast enough results, so you stray again. And then eventually you come back to the path, you try it again, and then maybe you get bored or, oh, I really did like that thing I'm addicted to. I think I'm going to go do some more of that. And so then you go there for a while, you get sick, you suffer, you struggle, and then you come back to the path. And so the ultimate wisdom here that Source is offering those who are conscious enough, which I'm sensing if you're tuning into the show, you are conscious enough to know and to hear this, is that the wisdom is sticking to the path. Stay to the path. The path of alignment is that path of self-love and that path of daily connection with Source, loving self, connect to nature, connect to Source, listen. So some of us, when we're in anxious energy, we talk a lot, and we need to shut the hell up. I'm just going to say, because I observe a lot of humans when they're really in fear and they're really nervous, they talk a lot. And I think it's partly they're trying to find the answers so much that they're talking to themselves 24/7, trying to figure it out. But what I've learned is in the silence is where the wisdom will be found. When we can go silent, we can tune in and just connect to the breath. We can release that tension. We can start to release the illusion of fear. Often our fears, all the things we're worrying about, are in our imagination. They're not even real, just imagine. And if we slow down, we go back to some of our understanding of laws of attraction. If we stay in that energy long enough of imagined fear, we will surely manifest it. Some of us have fears of sickness, we have fears of losing our jobs, we have fears of not having enough money, fears of people abandoning us. Whatever those fears are, if we dwell there and we keep fearing and we keep talking about it, or keep even not talking about it, just worrying about it and thinking about it a lot, we ultimately, the powerful and amazing creators that we are, will manifest it. So I just encourage you to be quiet every day, not with something to do, not because you're trying to perfect some kind of new modality or tool to reach ascension or to reach enlightenment. Let all that go. Just come to that place of stillness because it feels good, because it's relief, because there's a wisdom in you that hears these words and knows it's exactly where all your answers are. Because it's a place that you know that as you let go and release resistance, the body will return to health. And here is the reason that you won't do this. Some of you won't do it. And sources help me explain why. And I'm going to read this page to you from the Getting Into the Vortex book, which I've discussed many times. But I'm going to read this page and then I'll discuss why some of you won't choose that. The cells of your body are guided by Source, and they have the ability to find their balance no matter what, every time. No matter what! And so, you will not only find recovery from unwanted conditions, but a steady maintaining of well-being will ensue. Your sophisticated physical body exists because of the intelligence of your cells. And the intelligence of your cells exists because of their connection to source energy. Einstein said once that the only thing that is real is the source field. It's the field of infinite source energy. It is the only thing that's real. Everything else is energy particles that appear to be solid and real, but in truth, they're not as solid and real as you think. It's our dream. We're dreaming it all in. We are taking source energy and we are creating. And then we're taking these particles of matter and we're bringing it all together to look real. Kind of like in the Matrix when they say there is no spoon. That is a more true statement than many understand. And so as we get to that place where we understand source field is real, all this we can shift by coming back to source field. As we connect with source, we create, and we create powerfully. If you're having struggle with money, your body, your relationships, stop talking about it. Stop freaking talking about it. Stop giving so much energy to it. Stop worrying about it so much. Because as you're doing that, you are magnifying all that energy to you 100-fold. It's just, you're like a magnet for crap coming in. So as we just tune in, we're like, okay, so I see this situation. This is not how I would love it to be, but I am going to still stay in a place of love and honor, and I'm just going to call forth what I'm ready for. So like, my computer wasn't really working that great. I spent a lot of money on this computer. And what I'm doing is vibrationally like, you know what? This computer definitely has some issues. Something's going on. But thank you, angels. Thank you, universe, for working it out to where it's either resolved through a person fixing it or you're bringing me a new one. And we're just going to return it and everything's going to work out for my highest good. So the pause there is where I can tune in and remember, okay, I brought this to me, and I can create and bring a new one to me. I can create and release it. I can get rid of things. I can pull things in, all from my thoughts, from my actions, my words. It's all part of my creation tool. So if you're struggling in some way and you're talking a lot about the struggle, dare to stop, because it's not helping you. In fact, it is creating more struggle. If you are struggling with money, stop worrying about it, stop talking about it, and start focusing on the feeling of being rich, the feeling of wealth, the feeling of abundance. I was talking, and hopefully my sister won't mind, but she was talking with me earlier and she said something like, you know, Tawnya, I don't think I really want to be rich because I just think money just screws people up. It just ruins them. And I was like, interesting. I said, that's an interesting belief system that you have. And she's like, what? Like, no, like I really feel that that's what happens. I said, I know you do. And that is a deeper reason why you may be blocking your abundance. And it's not a judgment. It's just tuning in and going, oh, there's this very passionate, powerful belief system in me that says if I have a lot of money, I'm going to be screwed up and I'm going to be corrupt and I'm just going to lose my mind. And so some of us, we just got to get in there and feel that stuff and not judge ourselves. Just go, whoa, that belief system just popped out of somewhere. Where did that come from? And then we can start to explore it. And I know growing up with that sister, we were taught a lot about in religion, money is the root of all evil. And, you know, to be godly, you just give from the heart. You give from love and you don't worry about receiving. And that's fine. The giving and the not worrying, I get. But the teaching of something that's just an energetic exchange to assist us being evil, interesting. And some of us took that in so deeply that we don't know why we can't quite manifest. And it could be this unconscious part of ourselves that's just like, I can't let you manifest. It's going to kill you. It's terrible. So this part of your psyche is actually trying to protect you. So as we tune in, we can really start to explore our inner world. And for us to be quiet and to go inside and reflect, we know ourselves more. We can start to see what needs to be released that's no longer serving us. and we can see the power that we have in our creations by where we're holding our focus. So I'm going to pause for a second. Any questions or anything coming in, Amnon?
Not yet.
Okay. So back to reading in the getting into the vortex. Doctors, of course, are aware when your physical body is no longer the receiver of source energy, and so they then pronounce you dead. But there is much, much more for them to come to understand about the connection between your cellular physical body and the vibrational energy of source. When doctors and scientists try to find cures for diseases without taking into consideration the vibrational relationship between the physical being and the source energy, they are looking for cures in all the wrong places. So if we really go into that, this is where many of us, we have sicknesses and we have things going on, and we're searching for cures. We're searching for a relief. We want answers. And so we start thinking we're helping ourselves by Googling all this information, reading a ton of books on our symptoms and what could be the problem. And in truth, what you're doing vibrationally is you are really powerfully drawing more problem into your world. And a part of your intellect, your ego self, thinks it's being really wise and it's trying to help you. But the true, deeper wisdom would be to be quiet and to go lay down and to release resistance, to tune into your body and ask, like, what's going on, kidneys? Why are you hurting today? What is going on? What do I need to release? What do you have to teach me? And then you're quiet and you listen. You will be amazed as you start to tune into your body and really listen to what it's trying to tell you, that there's wisdom there. Your cells are so intelligent, and they are doing their best every day to keep you in health, to keep you in wholeness. But your ego and your mind and your wounded self, the wounded soul that is constantly, trying to create disruption, that part needs to be addressed and acknowledged so that we can clear that and we can really come back to wholeness. This is why, as an intuitive healer, the main thing that I'm doing in helping clients is helping them to clear old vibrational patterns and energy, and to help them to see in a new way, help them to remember who they are, help them to use their creative powers in a positive way instead of in a negative way. Because all of you listening today are creators. Every last one of you are powerful creators. And if you're having an experience in your life right now you don't enjoy, there's something that you are focusing on that has caused this to manifest. And if you stay in the martyr role, if you stay in a victim role, you will not allow yourself to see that. You will continue to be a victim. You will continue to stay in that place of suffering. And so that's fine. If you want to stay there, of course you have right as a creator to do that. But as a messenger of source, I'm here to help you remember who you are and to show you that there is another way. There is another path and another place to put your focus, and that is on your wholeness. That is on your abundance. It is on the support and the love. And some of us, we get these ideas, and I've had it happen to me where I have an idea. My ego gets like an idea, and it thinks it's so witty. And it's like, I really want this to happen in this certain way. And then when that doesn't happen, I suffer. Example I had, last night when I was having my crying moment and I was releasing a lot of energy, a simple thing happened. My fiance's mom had called and she talked with him. She talked with the granddaughter, and she didn't ask to talk to me. And it triggered something in me, and I was already feeling emotional. But I was laying there, and my beloved's like, "What's wrong, baby?" And I'm crying, and I was just, today as I processed it, I was like, I was grieving a dream. And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I said, I had a dream that at some point on this planet, I would find a family who loved me and supported me. And even talking about that makes me want to cry. It brings up emotion. So, woo, we're having a clearing right live on the show today. So see, it doesn't necessarily stop just because you lead an internet show. You're always going to be doing this. And so as I tuned into that feeling, I'm like, what is this feeling? Like, what is this feeling of rejection and not being supported and loved? Like, where is that coming from? And it was from childhood things, from childhood experiences of not really having a family that supported and loved me, having family members write you off because they just are afraid of you. They can't handle your truth. They can't handle how you live in such a free way. This has been an experience I've had many times. And I got to a point where years ago I realized I don't need a mother or a father in physical. because I have that within. My mother, my masculine, my feminine energy, it's right inside of me. It is source energy. It's source provides everything we need. But there was this part of my wounded ego self that showed itself, that rose to the surface to say, hey, remember when we had that dream of having this family that actually really wanted to talk to us and cared and supported? And when we saw them, they'd run and give us hugs and they'd invite us to special events and they were just so loving. That was a dream. And I had this kind of expectation, something that I would love to have happened. And you know, because I'm speaking this, there's still a good chance it's going to happen. It's going to manifest. But in that moment, it didn't feel like it had happened. It didn't feel like it was manifesting yet. And so I was grieving, I was releasing that energy and detaching from it. That's healthy, because if I don't do that and I just go, oh, I don't know what these feelings are, oh, they're scaring me, let me just push them back inside, then I can do that, but they're going to come back up again. They are going to rise again. And what I've learned to do through meditation is to allow it. So if something's coming and I'm feeling like I'm going to cry, I don't get judgmental on myself. I don't think, oh, you suck, Tawnya, what's wrong with you? You're supposed to be this perfect healer that knows all. That is craziness. And I've watched people kind of put pressure on healers, put pressure on ministers, on celebrities, on anybody that's kind of living publicly and transparently and they're in the public eye. There's this pressure put on them to be something perfect, and it's bullshit. It's complete crap, and it's not helpful. And even though I see that and I see the pressure of that, I don't participate. So I feel like today speaking this is even important for any of those listening that do put pressure on others because they're in a public eye. Like, let's say Obama's having a bad day. Maybe he's at an event and he's just like, you know what, the world is just shit. And he's just feeling frustrated that day. He's like, you know, I signed up for this thing, this job, I wanted to make a difference. And God, people just are hateful. They don't appreciate anything I'm trying to do. Like, I'm just pissed. I think I'm going to just go and play golf. And then the media just takes hold of that and just terrorizes him because he's trying to go into nature and relax and just let go of all that stress. Do you see what I'm saying? This is what humans do to each other. And I'm here to mirror to you all that we're all human. Obama, me, the girl down the street, the homeless guy that I just passed today, the elderly woman, Oprah Winfrey, every one of us are human beings, that we are spiritual beings in a human experience. That's more precise. Spiritual beings in a human experience, and we are all part of the whole. We are all part of this collective consciousness. We are all part of this oneness of source energy, but we're all fragmented pieces of the bigger piece. We're like drops of the ocean. But the ocean is the source energy. It's who we are. And so as we can get to that place where we stop trying to disconnect and separate and try to make ourselves superior, inferior, play victim games, play martyr roles, play this game of superiority, we will so evolve our planet so fast, and we'll really help each other have that release and that relief that we need, because we're not here to be these perfect beings, meaning that I'm not allowed to feel emotion, I'm not allowed to show my feelings. That's not the path of perfection. I feel in essence we already are perfect and whole. And when we focus on that wholeness, we feel permission to feel. And that's healthy. If you see someone that's going through trouble, like when I see clients, I've helped as a mentor with relationships that are having trouble. And when I observe them, if one's ego is very triggered, they're acting all tough and like they don't need them, and they're playing this game like, you know, they could just do so much better, and they're very defensive. And we got to watch that. Even if we're going through a separation or something in our life is changing, we don't need to become this ego energy, because it's not helping us to feel. So we may feel really sad and scared of a change. And what we've learned to do, society teaches us often, is to suck it up, to be tough, go get a nicer shirt, go out clubbing, go be sexy, get all the guys' attention, drive them crazy. All of these games are not serving us. And ultimately, I passionately and powerfully feel the solution is when we come back to self. It's when we come into that meditative place of knowingness. And it amazes me how many places there are available on the planet to find resources for meditation. I offer classes in my home. I do soul coaching over the phone, over Skype. I've seen CDs available. I made a CD. If any of you want to buy one, I have one that's been created. I've seen workshops that you can go to. I've seen books written on it. The point is, there's so much information and so much assistance to help you to come back to self, but I watch how many of you don't choose it. I watch weekly. I observe it like, wow, they are struggling, they're suffering, and they ask for the wisdom, and the wiser ones really come and they stick to the path, and I salute them because they are going to have amazing, profound change. They are going to live lives empowered and beautiful and abundant and prosperous because they're in that alignment. But I watch how many, the majority, sadly, just goes and gets distracted very quickly. Oh, let me go. I got to go eat some fast food real quick. I got to go numb the pain. Let me go take some drugs. Let me go get drunk. Let me go, buy some new outfits or buy something. I need a new boyfriend. Okay, I need another new boyfriend. I observe it, and I'm telling you, I only speak truth. And at this point in our journey, I hope that you can really tell that I would not mislead you and that I'm going to speak truth to you, even if it's what you don't want to hear. But the true, quickest, and swiftest path to your relief and to your healing is right here. It is right here. And it will always be right here. You will always find your deepest truth and wisdom here. Even a healer like myself can guide you and assist you. And if we're an aligned healer, we better be guiding you right here. If a healer's guiding you to just be codependent to them and that you need all this stuff and you need to buy all these crystals and you need, pay attention, because in essence, the truth is simple. It's all within. And so these other forms of modalities and tools, those can be fun. Like, I love crystals. They're beautiful and I like to play with them. But I don't feel that if I don't have them, I can't be powerful. If I'm, somewhere out of town and someone's like, I would like to have a healing with you. Can you help me right now? Yes, I can. Because Source and I are always together. And you and Source are always together. So let's connect on that oneness, on that wholeness together. And let's create some powerful magic. That is truth. All this other stuff is beautiful and we can play with it. But just be mindful if others are enslaving you with their words and their wisdom, or are they liberating you with their words and wisdom? And ultimately, your choices always will come back to you. They'll always come back to self. Any other stuff coming in, Amnon? I encourage you guys to ask questions, so let Amnon know if you have a question or even something you'd like to share that you can relate to with today's topic.
No, there's some. I'm talking with Ron, but nothing really is going on.
Okay, ask Ron what he would like to contribute, because he probably has something to say. What's Ron got? And I'll keep reading, and then you let me know when I'm done reading this paragraph. Okay, so anyways, we're back on talking about doctors and scientists trying to find cures without taking in consideration of vibrational alignment. That is so huge in where we're evolving to. If you're going to a doctor and you just want them to fix you and give you a drug, you are in trouble. If we look at the planet right now, our country is in trouble. Do you know how many people are addicted to drugs and prescribed drugs, and they're suffering, and it is not bringing them release? Do you know how many people get given a drug to help them? My father was given a drug for depression, and a week later, maybe a week, 2 weeks later, he killed himself. And people don't want to talk about this stuff, but this shit's real, and it happens to families, and it impacts families in amazing ways. And we gotta wake up. Like, we really need to start waking up and speaking truth and really taking accountability. If you're having trouble, and then my sister was joking with me, we were watching TV because we were watching some show, and it was like all this stuff with different ailments and different, if you take this in, my sister's talking to me, she's like, Tawnya, it's so crazy, like these medicines and medications that come up, and they'll be like, may cause bleeding, may cause suicide, may this, that. And I was like, exactly, I've totally seen that same thing where you might have like low back pain, and they're like telling you to take some medicine, and it might make you kill yourself. And people will take it. It is crazy. And so we've got to start tuning into the fact that we really have to be accountable for our own stuff. And we could go out there and get any pill of choice. I grew up with a mother who is completely over-medicated and afraid of every disease. And like, it was amazing to observe that as a child in her movie. But I never had to do that. And so some of you, if you've grown up around parents that are very hypochondriac, they're very, you know, they've always been sick, and they're like, go to the doctor, what is your diseases in your family? What, I encourage you not to tune into that. And this is why, not because you should be in denial, but I encourage you to be in your alignment of wholeness all the time. And if the forum comes along, like, do you have this? Did your grandmother have this? You know what? Maybe your grandmother did, and that was her journey. Your grandmother had her own specific journey. You do not need to be the bearer of her journey. And for so long, generations of people have carried the burden of their ancestors as if, oh, grandma had that problem, then mom had that problem, now it's my turn. What the crap? Like, we do not need to do that. Now, many of you are doing that. And if you want to tune into that, you may start to really discover some amazing things that could help liberate you and help free you from that energetic pattern. But if you want to stay in denial, that's fine. Like, we all have the freedom to choose where we would like to be. But I encourage you to tune into that and just to explore that for a while, of how maybe we are encouraged to continue cycles. Maybe we are encouraged to continue with suffering. And maybe, just maybe, all the stuff happening on the planet and all these angels that are channeling in and all this magical stuff that's happening is because it's time, and that there is a great intervention. Archangel Ariel told me recently when I was working with one of my yoga teacher students in our teacher training, she said that an amazing time is coming to the planet of an intervention, that the angels are here to intervene on our behalf, because humans, we think we know it all. We think that we know what we're doing, and we're at the end of our rope, and we're calling out for help. And energetically, if we get honest, many of us know this is true, but we keep just looking for more rope instead of going inside, asking Source to support us and to bring us answers. Maybe it means we're going to have to change our own personality. Some of you are so attached to your personality, like, I'm this personality, I'm that, I was raised this way. All of these boxes, all of these labels are not serving you. If you say, oh, I'm autistic, or I'm bipolar, or I'm ADHD, or whatever, I'm a certain personality type, any of that is you are claiming and attaching yourself to that. Now, the truth of yourself is much bigger. It's fullness, it's source energy. So now you're taking all that source energy potential and you're saying, it can only show up like this. Like, this is the only way my source energy can show up. And this becomes really tight. We start to feel very burdened, very pressurized, and that tension will start to wear us out, and it's to get our attention. If you remember the show we did on the gift of pain, pain is coming to get your attention because you've created this tight box. And as Ariel said, you want to free yourself, you want to have relief, then free yourselves, peek out from the very boxes of enslavement that you have created. Archangel Ariel's words right there. And that we are here to save ourselves. The angels are here to help us, but they're not here to do our work for us. I'm an angelic healer. I assist people, and I am not here to do the work for you. I'm not here to carry your burden. If you're my child, if you're my neighbor or a client, I'm here to empower you. I'm here to help guide you, but I'm not here to carry your stuff. And so this is something that each of us needs to really wake up to, because if one person listening today wakes up and starts to tune into Source daily, goes to nature daily, starts, oh my God, I am freaking powerful. They start remembering that, and then they start shining that light in their part of the world. I just turned on another light. I assisted in turning on another light. Now they start speaking truth. They assist in turning on a few more lights. Do you see how it works? So we don't want to ever put off our work and procrastinate because others aren't doing it. Often we'll have people, hey, it's 444 right now. Often we'll have people, you know, like if we have a relationship issue, well, I shouldn't have to change, he needs to change. You know what? Change yourself, shift your own energy to love, and you still win, regardless of if that other person changes. Maybe they'll never change. Maybe they'll never show love. And if so, you're going to remove yourself from their energy. But if you're hateful because they're being hateful, you're participating in the same game. So it's really important that we check in and we heal ourselves and we clear all that stuff so that we can be the change that we're here to see. Like, we really are the ones that hold the power. And as we shift, we have such a potential for creating greater shift. I know my influence, and I know that that influence came from the courage to be true to self, from the courage to speak truth and to let spirit speak through me today live in this way without any need for what's going to come. Am I going to be rewarded? Maybe, maybe not. Am I speaking anyway? Yes, I am. So some of you listening, maybe you need to hear that and to realize you're here on the planet. Why? Why are you here right now? Why are you on this planet right now, on planet Earth at this time? Start to be quiet and ask that question. I promise you, you will start to realize some important truth, and you will start to understand your ultimate soul mission, and you will feel amazing and fulfilled when you listen and start to take action in the alignment of that mission. If you want to stay stuck and you want to stay in struggle and fear, you absolutely can, and it will always feel heavy and it will always create suffering. But if you dare to go into places maybe you forgot how amazing it could feel, dare to start focusing on the gratitude, focusing on the love, lightening your load, lightening the heaviness of your burden, of your guilt, your anger, your shame, your unforgiveness. Let it drop and start to soar and raise up in vibration. And you will liberate yourself and many others in the journey that will be near your essence. Like your vibration will affect others. So, pausing, did anybody bring a question or did Ron tune in?
Well, I'm beginning to see a whole new side of Ron here.
Oh, what
Ron is saying, he says, it's so difficult not to go back to what you know works for any given situation. Some drugs or alcohol to numb the pain. Pornography to compensate for some lack of what's missing in a relationship. Overpowering someone with anger and lashing out to prove who is in charge and control. And he goes on to say, Tanya's answer is source. If I go back to source energy, then we go back to who we are. It's inside of us, and once connected and continually connected, the awareness enlightens, and you realize you don't need those material items to satisfy whatever is lacking. It took me time to drop those things, and I still continue to aware myself if I do think of the past addictions. So it's not easy, right? But actually it is. This is just the way I am. I am a chromosome, so how can I change? How? Choice.
Awesome. Is that all that he said? Is he done?
Yep. Well, okay. I don't know. He keeps on.
Okay, well, I'll tune into that part. So, yes, because Ron is my fiance and beloved, I know all this stuff about him, which is huge that he's feeling brave enough to speak that publicly and in such a true, vulnerable way. And that's exactly the freedom. The liberation comes when we can be so honest and so free with that, and we can really not try to hide from it or tuck it in anymore. And when I met him, he talked to me a lot about this, and we both talked a lot about how in our past relationships there was things lacking, and like, what did we do because of that lack? What did we seek to find fulfillment? And sometimes you do feel like, you know, if I find pornography, or if I go and smoke some weed, or if I go and get drunk, like it's going to bring some kind of release or just help you to deal with the pain. And in truth, it doesn't help you deal with the pain. And that's what, you know, Ron discovered in his past before we met. He did all these things, and he had women in his life that never challenged him. They never really said anything about it until they left him. And when they left him, then they yelled at him and blamed him and said they never loved him and were hateful. And it was because of their hurt. They were holding so much hurt. They were holding so much anger. So much unspoken truth was held inside of them that they were angry. He was angry. They weren't even connecting, but they had this appearance of a relationship. And so many humans are doing this right now. This is what they call love. It's so not love, and it's more of a codependency, a new addiction. We end up going, okay, well, I'm not feeling good, so let me go attach myself to this human. And Ron shared with me With one of his wives, he has been married twice, and with one of his wives, he felt she was definitely someone he was just trying to rescue. And that could be some part of him that felt like, something's going on and I just need to save someone, because I really, in essence, he needed to save himself. And the journey of that to learn from it was pretty painful, and it was quite a karmic lesson. But he learned it, and how does he heal? By doing what he's doing, by being honest, by being truthful, by being vulnerable. And with him and I, when we came together, why is it that a woman like myself that is so about alignment and about health, why would I be with someone that has a past like that? Because it's his past, and because he showed me in the now how he was ready to release it, and he showed me how he was ready to let it go and to shift himself. And each of us, he and I in our relationship, we have given ourselves that commitment to always speak our truth. And, sometimes like last night when I was crying, I was just crying and I couldn't talk. And he honors that. I'm just like, I'm just processing. I have to process these emotions, and then I will talk to you. And he's learned that's how Tawnya does it. She processes, she's quiet, she reflects, then she talks to me. And then he feels his stuff. He has to process it, reflect, and then we come together and we heal it together. So with him and I, like, there's no need for any pornography or any of the drugs or anything, but it's because we have this connection. And he does come to yoga and meditation whenever he's able, and he does tune in and listen. And when something's out of alignment and I share and shine the light to help him because I love him, he really listens to that, and he really chooses to shift it. And if I get upset and I get hurt and I, act out of alignment in some way and I say, I'm so sorry, he's like, baby, it's okay. I forgive you. Like, I understand you're under a lot of pressure. You have a lot going on. And so we both comfort each other in understanding where we have our human moments. But because of that awareness, he's healed so much, and he doesn't feel this emptiness anymore. And that emptiness really, you could say, oh, is it just because he's with a healer for a woman? No. But having a woman like myself that's inner power and that's aware and that's demands health and alignment, and that will not tolerate that abuse anymore, that has helped him to really see things that in the past he didn't want to see. And we both can look back at our relationships and see where we participated in what happened, and we can see where, wow, because I so didn't love myself enough, I allowed all this crazy stuff to happen and just tolerated and tolerated. And he can see, wow, because I didn't love myself enough, because I didn't feel I was good enough, I just went and I found a way to escape my life. And it really didn't help him. It was so much pressure when I met him. And as he started to let go of that misaligned life, he started to say no to a lot of people. And that probably took a lot by surprise, and maybe why some of them aren't as great. I can't talk. Some of them maybe not so excited that he and I are together, though I feel that we're supported mostly by people that are in our world now. But there were many that dropped away, and some of those people just couldn't handle him being in honor of himself, couldn't handle him like standing in his power and saying no. So the healing part, that's going to happen for each of us when we dare to be true to self. Now, what would hold us back from that healing is often the fear of what others will do with that, the fear of will we be rejected. I have had myself to learn to get over that so much, but does it mean that I don't feel sad when someone rejects me? Of course I feel that sadness. I feel the energy of hate. If I'm near hatefulness, I feel it. If I'm near someone and they're being superficial and they're not being true, I feel it. But does it mean that I can't feel okay about myself because of it? No. And it used to. It used to feel terrible to be around that. I used to take it so personally. But now I can just be like, wow, like that's just where they are. And they're just withholding love. And it's a missed opportunity for love. But I don't need to lose myself because of it. But it doesn't mean that I won't feel it. And I feel like we need to be healthy. A healer is not perfect, meaning like we're this God that is all knowing, all perfect. We're still in a human incarnation, and that human experience means that we're going to feel things. And so as Ron starts to shift and come into his alignment, he's going to feel more and more tuned into source. More and more good is going to happen for him. Just like as I'm tuned in, more and more good will happen for me. But if tension comes into our home, if tension comes around us, we're still going to be aware of it. and it may disrupt the energy for a little bit. And that's when we need to, I think I read to you, or maybe it was one of my healing classes, this channeling from the High Council of Orion, where it's talking about being at the top of the surface of the water and the waves are crashing. And a lot of us live right there in that drama. We are addicted to that drama. And so to get out of that drama, we have to dive deeply. We dive below the surface. If you go into the water and you dive down below, it's calm, it's quiet down there. And this is where you can discover all the truth and the wisdom. But so many of us, we don't dive down, we don't go deeper, and we just stay in the ripples and the waves crashing. And I have observed with loved ones that I love so much, how they will be doing so well in their path of alignment, and then they will just shoot right back over to the drama. And it's interesting to observe. It's a little bit sad to observe with the ones you love, because you do get impacted by their choices. But it's just interesting, like, wow, they're doing so well. They were loving themselves, and now they just left that again to go back in the distraction, to go back in, go and let the ones that have hurt them do it again. And you know what? I did it too. And this is where I can have great empathy and compassion, because it takes this journey of self-love and self-nurturing and coming back again and again and diving deeply again and again. And this is why I encourage each of you to come to that place of daily meditation, because you will awaken your power. You will remember your soul mission. You will heal your body. You will understand the cause of the sickness. You will understand the reason the humans don't connect with you. You will know source. You will know truth. You will powerfully create miracles and magic. And you will know that it's all coming from that connection with source, and that this energy will never end. All the fear will fall from your life, because when you're in alignment with source, you know that all that is for your highest good is coming in, and all that is no longer serving is falling away. Is as predictable as the ocean tides. The tide comes in, the tide goes out. It's the same with our life force. Our energy, our life, energy will flow away when it's no longer needed, and it will come in when it's time. And if we can just get back into the rhythms of nature, the full moon's happening. Okay, that's pulling the freaking planet. It's pulling the water of the entire planet over there. So am I naive to believe that, it wouldn't affect me? Of course it's affecting me. I am mostly water. I am an energetic part of this universe and this planet. That impact is felt. And so the more we connect with nature, the more we realize that it's all okay, and I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling the waves, I'm feeling the ripples, I'm feeling the love, I'm feeling the pain, but it's just allowing ourselves to feel it and not attach to it. That is the wisdom. There's no need to cling to anything. When you're really in alignment with source, you simply allow everything to happen, and you learn from it, you navigate it, and you choose to take the steering wheel of your ship and navigate where you want to go. But as the environmental things are happening, you don't try to control them. You just go with them. You pay attention. You navigate that ocean. And so it's really important that we learn that this is what we'll learn in meditation. And it's not just from reading a book or listening to a CD or taking a workshop and then going right back to crazy drama. It's coming and doing this for yourself daily. It can be as simple as a few breaths, like just laying down right now as I'm speaking, just closing your eyes. Take a deep breath in, fill your belly, fill the diaphragm, lift that breath up as high as you can, and then exhale and empty it completely. Do that again and again with no agenda, nothing that you need, just simply for I feel the presence of my breath. I'm so connected to this moment. I'm so connected to this breath. This is a gift, because this is going to help connect you to the moment with your love, with your child, with what's happening around you. You won't need to run from it or be fearful. You can tune into it. You can be present. And this is where love is. This is where the magic happens. And it's there for all of us. It's available for every one of us. It's just some of us are tuning in, some of us are listening, and some of us are not. So I encourage you to listen. So I'm going to finish reading this last little bit. Dis-ease is the disallowing of ease. Dis-ease is the disallowance of well-being, which is always indicated pre-disease in the form of chronic negative emotion. So if you're chronically negative, you're chronically stressed, you're chronically angry, you're chronically depressed, you're chronically attaching to some low vibration, energetically, you will create dis-ease in the body. This is as simple as it is. So if you want to shift that and claim ownership over your vessel, then you want to every day release resistance. This is why I encourage getting this book, Getting into the Vortex. There's a CD you can listen to, and it's 15 minutes a day of just releasing resistance. If there's a teacher like myself in your area and she teaches meditation and yoga, go. Like, go actually do it. Don't just keep talking about you're going to do it one day. Take the time, claim that time, maybe once a week, just to connect with others with that same intention. Because that teacher, what my students say they love about coming is that it holds them accountable. It helps them, you know what, I've got someone tuning in with me, and she kind of gives me guidance to keep me remembering who I am through the week. This is really helpful for many of you until you're in that place where you totally know how to do this very powerfully, till you totally feel confident and in alignment. It's helpful to have a guide guiding you, reminding you of who you are. And you want to show them honor. You want to show yourself honor by showing up. Really show up and do the work. Because you're going to have to eventually. We all have the same journey to travel. And some of us wander around for a while. But it's going to be that day that comes where we all come back to alignment. So I encourage you to just stick to the path. Your cells, because of their connection to the intelligence of source energy, know exactly what to do in order to become the incredible variety of functioning cells in your magnificent physical body. And in the absence of the hindrance that is caused by your restraint and your negative thought, the communication stays open to clear up to the moment interaction, keeping your physical body at peak and perfect performance. So just that time of being still and releasing resistance is coming back to wholeness, and using affirmations like I am whole, I am healed, so much more powerful than I am, a chronic sufferer of whatever. I am struggling with this. I am an alcoholic. There's all these labels. I encourage you, if you're going to use a label, create a powerful one that creates liberation and freedom and health. So let's see, the last part. In the absence of negative emotion, and therefore the allowance of complete alignment and communication with source energy, your physical body can reclaim its balance and recover from any imbalance. And once balance has resumed, it is easy to maintain with consistently good-feeling thoughts. So that's the page that I felt led to share today, and feels pretty spot on with just the understanding of meditation and how that means when we come in and we release resistance, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to do any kind of ritual or anything like that. If that comforts you, go for it. But if it limits you, if it causes you stress because you're trying to do that perfect, have the courage and the wisdom to notice that and just get more simple. The wisdom today is that everything you seek is very simple. And we just need to choose simple. We need to choose harmony and balance again, instead of choose chaos, instead of choosing confusion and all this ego stuff. There's so much we can create with our ego, but you could choose to be simple. So, any other questions, Amnon, or feedback from Ron?
Nope. He said he was done.
Oh, well, he's really not done. I'm just kidding. As far as the big picture, is any of us done? No. We got a lot to do, but I get what you're saying. So yeah, thank you so much for Ron for writing in and for sharing that, because that was very courageous. And I think for him to speak that as a man and other men listening could really help them maybe to tune into that woundedness in themselves of why they would choose these things. And is it really helping, or is it actually harming their relationships? Is it really helping connect them to source, or is it a disconnection? I know he shared with me that it felt shaming. And so I was just talking with my sister about how really with source, with alignment, it's very simple. We either are choosing to live in the light or we're choosing to live in the shadow. Whatever that may be. If we're hiding something, we're sneaking, it's shadow energy. And so we need to tune into why we feel we need to sneak. And if we're sneaking, it's often because it's something that's not really good for us. So if we can either be bold and brave and bring it to the light and still feel that we're comfortable to talk about it or do it, go for it. But if you don't feel that that feels in alignment and you're in shadow, that can really create a lot of disruption in your energy and in your life. So I salute Ron for sharing that, because I hope that it reaches other men that are listening, and women, to even understand what's going on with a man if he's maybe struggling, maybe their partner's struggling in that way. So I wish all of you the best and hope happy healing thoughts for the whole planet. I encourage you this week, as you're practicing, I'll offer you that, to practice your daily meditation and just be quiet and ask Source for the guidance. I encourage each one of you to take a moment that's not selfishly focused and completely focus it outward to the planet, sending love and light to especially those who are in darkness, especially those who are feeling stress and anger and violence and all these things happening in different parts of the world, including our own country, things happening, and maybe in our families, and just send love and light to every soul, that they will awaken and that they will remember who they are. Because this is, in essence, what is necessary to happen for the planet to shift into a higher vibration. So I thank each of you for taking the time to assist as planetary global shifters and to just shine your light always. And thank you so much for taking time today to tune in and listen. And I encourage you to share this video with anyone that you feel it could help, and to follow us on YouTube under Tawnya Angel and watch any shows that you feel led to. Share them with your family members, and contact me if you'd like to work with me as an intuitive healer or to attend any of my workshops, which coming up, I've got an Essence of Yoga and Meditation teacher training starting in November, if you're in the Vancouver, Washington area. I also have a special on Skype if I do soul coaching, where you can get a session and get your second session half off. So either for yourself or you can gift that to a loved one. And then what else is going on? Oh, this weekend I'm going to be leading an Empowering of the Empath workshop that's going to be a mentorship for the next 6 months. And we're going to meet once a month for 6 months. And that's going to be an amazing mentorship. So if any of you are feeling led to work more intimately on yourself and to really understand your gift of being an empath and what that means to live as an empowered empath, I totally invite you to either join us live or to contact me, and we can work out a package deal to do this via Skype, no matter where you live in the country. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and please call me and make use of my services and really just do the work. Don't be afraid another day. I encourage you to be bold and brave and to seize this now moment and to really shift and heal yourself, because the planet is waiting for you. The planet is totally waiting for you to show up in your power. And we've got stuff to do. We've got stuff to beat. So anyways, thank you so much for tuning in, and have a blessed and beautiful day, everyone. Namaste.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Help In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tawnya Love Show, and if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. That VidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.